Hey everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Gabby if you're new here. I create content on clean beauty, skincare, makeup, and I also recently got engaged, and I am sharing a wedding series on my YouTube, basically going through my wedding planning process, maybe sharing some outfits, some wedding trial makeup, etc., and just taking you along the journey as I plan for my wedding next year. The very first video that I want to share for my wedding series was all about my engagement ring. Now, I've been posting on Instagram pictures and stories, and thankfully a lot of you have shared some questions as well, but I really wanted to create this video as a source for you to help you as you are deciding on an engagement ring, and just give you a little bit more information about my process, my experience, and what I end up choosing for my engagement ring. So I will have timestamps so that you guys can go ahead and just click on any specific kind of title or topic that you are interested in learning more about. But if you're fully new and you have no idea where to start, what to do, then I would recommend just watching the entire thing. The very first question that I want to start with is basically when we started talking about engagement rings, marriage, etc., and how we went from discussing it to actually starting the process of looking at rings, talking to people, etc. So I know sometimes traditionally speaking, the girl would maybe drop hints to their significant other about what kind of rings they want, maybe just social inspo, or they would rely on the, best friend or the mother of the bride or the sister of someone to ask for advice in terms of what you would want. I think more non-traditionally what we did was we were kind of discussing and decided that together my partner and I would look at options of what was feasible for his budget as well as what I would really love to have as an engagement ring, and we almost collaboratively worked together to get the engagement rings of my dreams. But there was still a bit of surprise, an element of surprise when I did get engaged in terms of the actual ring itself. So I will share all that information. But yeah, so that process basically looked like we've been together. When he proposed, we were just short of 4 years, but we were talking about engagement probably 3 years into our relationship, and little kind of random topics or random conversations here and there that were very casual. It wasn't until probably September of 2020 that we were more seriously talking about engagement rings and just kind of opening the door of looking into, going to jewelers, looking at rings, seeing what taste I liked and all that stuff. So there really isn't a right time or a certain amount of years that you have to be with your partner before you decide that you want to start looking, but definitely if you've already started that discussion and your partner seems open to wanting your input and to kind of work together to get the ring of your dreams, then I would say hey, let's go to XYZ jeweler at the mall and just try some ring-ons just to see what we like as a couple, just to give you an idea. That's kind of how I opened the door. And we went to a few jewelers at a local mall, and these weren't jewelers that I necessarily wanted to purchase a ring from, but it gave both of us an idea of the cut that I wanted, if I wanted a solitaire halo, if I wanted small diamonds on the band, a plain band, what color did I want. And then I kind of thought a little bit more about who I wanted my diamond from, what mattered to me when picking a ring, and I remember and recall a blogger that I follow using and getting her engagement ring from a company called Ecksand. Found that as a good referral for me to feel confidence in choosing them. But there was also a ton of other things that I really liked about Ecksand that kind of met my markers for wanting to purchase my engagement ring from them. So to start off with, they're made in Canada, they're a Canadian-based company, they're female founded, and they also have recycled gold and ethically and sustainably sourced jewels. So whether that's diamonds or if you choose to get another center stone. And that is kind of when I spoke to my partner and said, listen, I really want to look into Ecksand and maybe book a consult and see what their process is like, what their prices are like, and what options they have for the type of ring and diamond that I want. So when we reached out to Ecksand and we booked a consult with Jessica, she's amazing to start off with. So when we first had our consultation, we did a Zoom meeting. Both Jay and I were on the Zoom call, and she had asked what I kind of had in mind for a ring. What were the specifications, the style that I wanted, and also kind of what our budget was and how the payment structure worked. So I told her that I wanted an emerald cut, I wanted a solitaire, I wanted something that appeared to be about 2 carats, if possible and within budget, and also a yellow gold band, and I wanted it thin. Like, I wanted a really thin band. So I told her the specifications, and she was really good about kind of telling us the pricing and the differences between the clarity, the cut, the color of the diamond, and how that affected price and what really mattered, and it was just really eye-opening. Okay, so I wanted an ethically sourced, sustainable ring, something that I felt good about. I didn't kind of worry about where the diamond came from. Was it stolen? Was it mined unethically? Was it even real? Like, those kind of things. So I really wanted to make sure that it was ethical and also a reputable place. I really wanted something custom made. I did kind of shop around at different jewelers, looked at some of their ready-made rings, and I just wanted something that was uniquely mine, something that I could look at every day and say that it is perfect just the way that it is. So something that I could personalize, make myself, get every little thing that I wanted in my engagement ring. So that was really important to me. Something that was also timeless and simple, that was kind of going in with the customization. I really wanted to look at it and always feel like it was in style, that I never made the wrong choice. I also wanted to maximize the carat appearance, so how big it looked, while also staying within budget, and then obviously not breaking the bank. I didn't want to choose a jeweler that was price gouging. I really wanted a place that had a very fair price point, very reasonable, and I really thought that Ecksand just checked all those boxes off. Okay, so someone had asked, do I wash, sanitize, / also do my skincare with my ring on? Sometimes. So I do, if I'm out, I will sanitize my hands with it on. I just don't run the sanitizer right over it. I kind of just do that and I'm a little bit careful. I sometimes wash my hands with the ring on, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take it off and I'll just pop it in my mouth like this, and then wash my hands, especially if like I'm in a public washroom, which obviously isn't happening very frequently now, but that's something that my mom taught me, was just to put the ring in your mouth and hold your lips while you're washing your hands. Never set your ring down, because you don't want to lose it, leave it, or potentially have it drop in the sink. For skincare, it also depends. Sometimes I'm wearing it. If I'm just applying like my skincare serums or oils, I will apply it. But if I'm washing my face or putting on a mask or something that's kind of like glumpy or cloggy, I will take my ring off, and I have a little tray in my bathroom, and I will put it on that tray while I'm doing my skincare, and then put it back on afterwards, just to prevent it from getting dirty or anything like that. The next question is, how do I clean it? Okay, so I notice, and even now, like if I'm especially wearing sunscreen or moisturizing my hands, it can get a little bit dull looking. So I got this pen cleaner or diamond cleaner from Amazon, and this is called the Diamond Dazzle Stick, and it literally is just like a little brush tip, and I will just wet this and I'll rub it directly on the ring. I'll rinse it, and then I'll take a microfiber cloth and just kind of buff it, and that has worked perfect. It makes it bright and glossy and vibrant again, and I love it. Thoughts on a wedding band. Okay, so I have been thinking about wedding bands. I've been looking on Pinterest, getting inspiration, but I think the thing that I want to do, because my ring is just a plain solitaire and I got the band to just be a plain yellow gold, I kind of wanted a little bit more blingy of a band. So I'm thinking about a baguette cut, like a horizontal baguette cut engagement, or wedding band from Ecksand. I want to choose Ecksand again, A, because I loved my experience with them, but B, because I wanted the color of the gold and just everything to look very cohesive. And because I had such a great experience, it just kind of makes sense to get our wedding bands from them as well. And there's also a wedding band that I really love for Jay that's on Ecksand as well. I don't know, it just feels right to purchase your band from the same place that you got your engagement ring from, unless it's like an heirloom or something that's been handed down. So for our engagement story, when Jay proposed, he did not propose with the box. He did a very clever proposal, which I will let him share that story with. But afterwards, the box is like this, just a plain, I think this is like a leather-esque box, and it's just in gold writing, it says Ecksand, and the inside is just this kind of pale beige tone pink. It's very simple. I really love this. Like, this is exactly the style that I would want for our flat lay shots. Like, it's gorgeous. So I always take my ring off before I go to bed, and I put it in the box just to always secure it. I also don't wear my ring to work. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm just always hand sanitizing, putting on and off gloves, taking on and off PPE. It just didn't make sense to potentially come into the risk of accidentally taking off my glove and taking off the ring with it and losing it. That would just be so awful. Literally gives me chills thinking about it. So I just put it in the box. I know where it is. I put it at my bedside, and I always feel good about it. And it also comes in this beautiful, like, emerald green velvet pouch. It is stunning. It's such a beautiful keepsake, and you could really use this for anything. I think all their jewelry comes in this beautiful pouch. I just love it. It's so luxurious with the gold Ecksand on it. I love this, and they were giving me really clever ways to use this. You could use this as an iPad case. I'm probably, if I go to like different vendor meetings, I'll probably use this like just to put like all of my wedding papers in. If they give me any information cards, business cards, I'm gonna use this to put in here, or like when we get our save the dates or our wedding cards and I need to leave some aside for our flat lay shots, I'll probably store it in here so it doesn't get bent or dusty or dirty. So there's a lot of options you can use for this for your wedding planning journey. And I'm going to talk about the specifications that I wanted for the actual ring itself, and how we basically made it custom made. So when I decided I wanted this specific engagement ring, I kind of did a lot of Pinteresting to get the exact idea that I wanted. And from Pinterest is kind of how I just collected all those thoughts and inspiration together and came up with how I wanted to personalize it. So like I said, I wanted either an emerald or an oval. I was really drawn to an emerald cut. I liked the look of an elongated versus something that was more I don't know if it's princess cut, is like the square one. So I knew I really wanted the emerald cut to be like longer than it was wide. So I love that. I also really like the look of a horizontal instead of a vertical, but I liked how the vertical kind of elongates your hands. So yes, I knew I wanted that. In terms of size, I wanted, obviously, I think every girl wants like a pretty large diamond, but within reason. I wanted it to be within budget. I didn't want it to look ridiculous. So that was something that was also really important in terms of deciding who I wanted to go with, was making sure that the jeweler that we were going with was fair, wasn't price gouging their diamonds. So this was a very fair price for the size of diamond that we end up getting. So something that looked, you know, within 2 carats, but was affordable. I also knew I really wanted yellow gold. I just always wear gold. I never wear silver. It made the most sense to choose a yellow gold band for my wedding band or my wedding engagement ring that just kind of matched the rest of the jewelry that I wear on an everyday basis. Because you're going to be wearing this every day, choose the color of band that you're actually going to wear that matches your other jewelry. Of course, I think people who get white gold bands or platinum, it still looks great even if they wear yellow gold jewelry, but I knew I wanted yellow gold. It was just my aesthetic, and I thought it really stood out against the diamond. And I also wanted a thin band. I wanted something that was super dainty and thin, and it was perfect. Like, I love just how minimal and dainty it looks, and it really just makes the diamond itself stand out. So I think that was kind of it in terms of what I said I wanted for the ring specifications, how I wanted to design it. And basically from those points, Jessica really helped me, you know, choose a diamond. She sent a lot of options that were within that category, within budget. And when it came to the band, like, I wasn't really in that process. I think she just took what I said and then went with it and discussed it with Jay to get this band in this setting. So I love that. But yeah, I was kind of part of the process of choosing a diamond. She sent us a lot of really high quality zoomed in photos of the diamonds that allowed us to look at kind of like the cut of the diamond, the shape, the weight, the clarity, the color, etc. And we kind of looked at that. We did some Zoom calls. She laid the diamond in her hands. She had very similar hands to me in terms of like length and size, so it was really helpful to see the diamond against hers, especially because we weren't able to go to the store to try it on and look at it on my own hands. So having similar hands really helped. So yeah, I love that. She was able to take a picture. She emailed it to me. I kind of like visualize it in my head. Funny enough, the ring or the diamond that Jay and I were like, I love this one we want to go with, wasn't the one that he ended up choosing, but he did amazing. I mean, the one that he got was beyond my expectations. So amazing. Hello, so I am back actually on a different day with my fiance. And so we're gonna answer some of the additional questions that really included him in the process, and especially when it became more of his, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Process. There's a lot of behind the scenes that he obviously dealt with that I wasn't a part of, so we're gonna kind of go through those questions. So both Jay and I, when we decided that we wanted to, you know, get engaged and we're looking at the process of getting an engagement ring, I feel like you wanted to see in person too, like what my taste was. So we actually went to a couple different stores in Yorkdale, which is like a local mall to us. Tried a few rings on, got somewhat of an idea, but there really wasn't a lot of options in...
They were pretty ugly too.
Yeah, and they were very overpriced. So that was more of a ballpark for us to kind of gauge maybe size of the ring, size of the diamond, shape, etc. And then when I knew that I wanted to choose Ecksand, that's when I kind of reached out to them and we booked a phone call with one of the consultants there. Her name was Jessica, and we did 2 phone calls, I believe, together. We did like an introduction where I told her what I wanted. We kind of went over like budget and stuff like that on the initial call.
It was good because we didn't like know anything.
Yeah.
Right? Like you said, we went over budget. When Jessica asked what our budget is, I told her I don't know because I've never bought one of these before.
Right.
Like I don't, you don't really know, and so it was really helpful because she sort of walked through, like everything you need to know about a diamond, like what makes this 1 carat diamond more expensive than this 1 carat diamond. Like
right.
What are all the things that matter? Like what you should look for, what you should care about, all that kind of stuff. So
what you can kind of compromise on.
Yeah. So, and what to be aware of. It was just like really educational.
Yeah.
And it helped understand like what we were actually doing.
Yeah.
So that was good.
Yeah, I think that was like mostly the initial conversation and just like a really good introduction and having like a good feel for the person who's going to be working with you for that entire process. Like it is a big moment in both of our lives, and the process should be as seamless as possible, especially for the couple and for the person buying the actual ring. I know it's probably, I can imagine, a very stressful situation. So like how would you say, once we decided like the cut I wanted, the approximate size that I hope for, but obviously it's at the end of the day it was like his decision, once we kind of looked at a few different diamonds, because really Jessica just showed us, okay, from what you said, what you want, what your approximate price range is, here are some diamonds. So she showed us like really high quality close-up pictures of the diamonds, so you could really see like any imperfections, the color, the cut, the lines that you see in the diamond. And then I gave Jay like, okay, I kind of like this one. And then from there, like, I was in the dark. I had no idea what was happening behind the scenes. So Jay, like, what would you say? Like, how many conversations did you have with Jessica? How was that communication? Like, what was your experience?
Well, it was really easy. Because, like, the first call, once we knew what Gabby wanted, once we knew what size she was, so that's the other thing that Ecksand did that was really helpful, is they sent us a sizer. Mm-hmm. So for me, I didn't have to guess. You know, I knew what size ring Gabby was, and Ecksand knew, because told them, so it was super easy for that. But after that first conversation, we had 2 calls with them, right?
We had 2.
Yeah, so the first one was just like get to know you, and the second one was she showed us some diamonds. Mm-hmm. After that, it was all me, and honestly, like, it was super easy. It was just all over email. So what Jessica did was, you know, she said, like, here's some options, sent some pictures. She was super honest and transparent with what was going on. She said, you know, these are the ones that you can get. Here's the prices. But then she was also very attentive. She didn't just settle and say, like, here you go, like, pick. She followed up with me and said, we have one that's coming, that's not here yet, but it's probably going to be better for Gabby based on, like, the way her hands look, like the size of her fingers and all this stuff. It's, you know, it's a better fit. And so she went above and beyond to make it really easy for somebody who doesn't know anything about anything when it comes to, like, jewelry, really. Like, I've never worn any jewelry in my life. I don't know anything about it. So she made it like I didn't have to make any decisions, really. I didn't really have to do anything.
Yeah.
She just said, like, hey, like, look, this is what will look good, and I have one. Here's pictures. Do you want to do it? Yes, no. Like, she made it really easy. Like, very, very easy for me.
I found like she was almost like, you know, a lot of the time where, like, your partner who's buying the ring will sometimes go to, like, a sister or mother and stuff because they know what style, you know, the person you're buying the ring for loves. And I feel like in that initial consult, she really got a good idea of exactly what I wanted. And so when we, like, basically I handed it off to Jay, like, she was able to almost be like that best friend, that, like, personal consultant who knew exactly, like, this is what Gabby wants. Like, I can tell, like, by the shape of her fingers what proportionally will look nice, and what I had in mind. So I think that she was like, you know, oh, like, I had settled on, like, one diamond. I said, I really like this one when we were looking at them together. And Jay made, with, I guess, Jessica's help, like, the executive decision to pick a different one. But it was, like, end up being the better choice, so.
Yeah, like, I'm a salesperson. So Jessica did a very, very good job of really, like, being an expert for me and helping me make a decision that I don't know anything about. So when she said, hey, the one that Gabby liked, it's nice, it's going to look big, but it's not going to look big like the way that she wants as much as this other one. It's slightly more expensive, but it's going to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And so she made it really easy, and, like, I trusted her because the previous conversations. And so I said, yeah, like, done. And then they were super accommodating with setting up, like, payment and all that stuff. Like, it was really, really easy. Mm-hmm. And there was, like, it never felt like, you know, I just bought something and then they stopped kind of caring. Like, if I had questions, she'd always respond. Mm-hmm. So same time every day that she would respond, so I kind of knew when to expect it.
That's funny. Yeah, I think we both had, like, a really good experience buying the ring, and I think for Jay, like, we kind of discussed openly too, and I think this is something important to maybe discuss with your partner too, about, like, you know, setting expectations of what is actually reasonable in terms of, like, the carats in your budget and stuff like that. But they have, I think, very fair pricing in comparison to some of the other places that we've looked at. And not only that, it's not just like, oh, the pricing is fair, but the quality is lacking. Like, I find that the quality of the diamonds and the experience is, like, top of the notch. So
top notch.
Top notch.
Top notch, not top. That's okay. ESL. But yeah, like, it was, she just did such a, I feel like I know more about diamonds and buying them now. Mm-hmm. Like when we first went to 𝒷𝒶𝓃 Mall, which like Gabby said is around here, one of the places we went was like a kind of a high-end boutique, because there's not, 𝒷𝒶𝓃 is that kind of mall. There's not a lot of options. And the jeweler was bringing out rings, and it was like a $75,000 ring. And I'm like, I can't do that. Like, what am I going to do with that? That's.
I think that, like, with that experience, too, when we were just kind of browsing, it was more, like, very, like, nonchalant, like, this is $75,000, where, like, with Ecksand, like, it was a very, like, open conversation, like, these are realistic expectations of how much we can afford for a diamond, what's reasonable to spend on, you know, an engagement ring. Yeah. So, she, like, the team at Jessica were very, like, aware that it's not just easy to spend however much on a ring. So
yeah, and they did a really good job of explaining, like I said before, like the value of what you're spending, like why one versus the other.
Yeah.
And they did a really good job of like explaining what actually matters when you're buying a diamond, because there's like all these different things, like certifications, and Jessica was great in explaining like this doesn't matter, that doesn't matter, but here's like the things that will make the diamond look the same 100 years from now. Mm-hmm. And that was super helpful, and you know, and she just made it really easy to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, I think for doing everything virtually, like, our experience was great. Like, it still felt very personalized. It didn't feel like we were just, you know, talking, like, exchanging emails.
The most nerve-wracking part was when it had to get shipped by FedEx.
Yeah.
That was the most nerve-wracking part.
So how was that? Like, was there like warranty? Like, was it discreet packaging? Because I never knew what it looked like. Because, like, who knows, if you live together and you're shipping it to your house, like, and someone picks up the box, like, was it discreet?
Yeah, it was just a FedEx box.
Okay.
So it was a FedEx box with a box inside of that, and then another box. So it was box 3. It was very difficult to open, and then inside that box there was a pouch. Mm-hmm. And inside that pouch there was a smaller ring box. So there was 4 boxes total. But it was, you wouldn't have known it was a ring if you saw it. Like, it just was a normal FedEx box.
Yeah. And
they ship it like priority courier, so it, like, the next day it comes. Like, it's yeah. So I mean, for where we're located in Toronto, right? Like, they're in Montreal, so next day's reasonable. They put it on a truck and it's here. It's only 5 hours.
Yeah. Any tips for hiding the ring?
Well, ship it to your mother-in-law's house, your future mother-in-law's house, or anyone.
Your own parents' house.
Yeah. If you live in a condo, or actually if you live anywhere with your future spouse, ship it to someone else's house.
That you trust.
Yeah, that you trust. I try to think of where I could hide it. I went and made an excuse for when I had to pick it up before, like, a round of golf, and I just left early and picked it up. And the ring box is small, so you can put it in your pocket, and I hid it in my nightstand. So I put it in a place that I know that Gabby never goes into. Mm-hmm. Like, she's gone into my nightstand 1 time in the entire time that we have lived here.
Yeah.
So I knew she wouldn't find it there, and if she opened the drawer, there was probably like a better than 50-50 shot she would have seen a box, but I know she wasn't going to go in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, ship it to someone else's house.
Yeah. And then lastly, if we want to just quickly share the proposal story.
I didn't really know, like, I kind of had planned on doing it on my birthday or, you know, our anniversary or around that sort of time, because both kind of come up in the same time. Mm-hmm. And because I figured that would be an easy way for you to say, like, let's do, like, a nice date night.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so Gabby's best friend's birthday was
24th.
There you go. I just got a 4. So on the 24th, and for that it was a virtual wedding, so we were going in through Zoom, but I knew Gabby was dressing up. Mm-hmm. So for me it was like, this is the day it has to happen, because I might not get another chance. I had talked with Gabby's mom multiple times about how I was planning on doing it, and actually she gave me the idea to do it this way. So I'm sure everyone that follows Gabby and knows her knows about Josie.
He's pointing down because
she's sitting there looking at us. If you don't know Josie, this is Josie. Sorry, Jojo. I know your mom wanted you to be up there. So what Gabby's mom suggested was that I find a way to like include Josie in the proposal. And so before the wedding, I took Josie out for a bathroom break, and on the way back in, before I came in the door, I put the ring on her harness, on like where her dog tag is, and sent her inside and asked Gabby to take her harness off, which, like, the ring would have sat right there, staring her in the face.
I didn't see it.
And so what she did is she unclipped the harness, just left it on the floor, and sat back on the couch. And so I came in, and I thought it was funny, and so I said, like, you know, you didn't notice anything? And I think when I said that, I think she, like, kind of maybe realized what was happening. Or
no, I didn't realize when you first said that. I thought, like, so, like, her dog has colitis, and sometimes you have to, like, wipe her bum, and she comes in TMI.
She's blood on it, yeah.
So I was like, oh, like, shoot, like, I have to clean Josie or something. So the first...
When did you know? When did you know it was happening?
When you knelt down to...
You didn't know the whole time until I knelt down?
No. Until you went to pick up the harness and you were like, would you... I can't remember if
it was stuck. So what happened is it was on the ring, like a key ring that holds her dog tag. And so I'm nervous. And so my hands were like shaking, so I couldn't get it off the key ring.
Yeah.
And it was very slow and like embarrassing, but that's, I think, when you noticed.
That's when I was like...
And so the other thing I knew Gabby wanted was she wanted it to be filmed or photos of it, if possible. COVID basically made that... I'm gonna sneeze. Totally...
Bless you. Wait, is it gonna happen again?
I don't know. COVID made that basically totally impossible. So I had actually reached out to one of Gabby's, I might sneeze again, one of her photographer friends and asked her to film it or photograph it, and I was going to set up a location. This was before we went into like another, like, more serious stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
And so I knew I couldn't do that. So I have a tripod I use for golf to like practice and film myself and whatever. And because it was in April, it was in the house, and I use it to film stuff in the house sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I set it up with my phone on, and I sort of told her I was going to like just film some golf stuff when I came back. But the camera was recording. But at the time, we were watching some show on HDTV, and the volume was loud. And so when I came in and did the proposal, it's on video of me doing it, but all you hear is HGTV.
Yeah, and it's not like center, so you actually really can't see. You just see Jay's back and like part of my face leaning over, but...
I tried, did my best with that part of it, but, you know, in a way, that's very much like us that it worked out that way.
And I think, like, at the end of the day, like, if things don't go exactly as planned, like, it doesn't matter. Like, if you're the person proposing, like, don't stress out about everything going according as planned, because there's so many things that didn't go probably according to plan in terms of like the filming, me not seeing the ring.
I didn't think I would give like a long speech or anything, and I ended up just babbling.
Yeah.
Like just talking before I asked, and it was...
So that is it for my experience, the ring, the specifications of what I was looking for in a ring, and our little engagement story, Jay's process with how his experience was behind the scenes when I was not involved anymore. If you guys have any questions specifically for myself or Jay about anything, just leave it down in the comment section below if we didn't already address it in this video. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to my very first wedding series video. Definitely more to come as we are getting married next June. We've already set the date, so we're very excited, and definitely more content coming soon. Bye guys.
Bye.